everybody. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to Ain't Life a Trip. In today's episode, we're going to head over to Concord, Massachusetts, a little bit north of us, but should be a good time. Concord is a town steeped in American history from the Revolution on forward. One of the things that it's most known for is it's where the first shots of the Revolutionary War were officially fired, and it's also like the birthplace of American literature between Ralph Waldo Emerson, David Thoreau, Louisa May Alcott, and Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Like all of the famous literary people from
all of the famous early American literary writers were from Concord. They were all here at the same time.
They all live right close next to each other.
So, we're going to go check it out. Trish is really into history. I like history too, but I'm also a writer.
That's why I wanted to go there, because history, first shots of the Revolutionary War, that kind of thing.
So it should be a good time. Come on, it'll be fun.
Our first stop is the home of Ralph Waldo Emerson.
This is the home of Ralph Waldo Emerson. He was a writer and a philosopher and a poet.
One of the most famous early American literature writers in our history. And one of the really cool things is that Emerson and Thoreau, David Thoreau, another great American literary author, were friends. And from this house to Thoreau's cabin in the woods is the Thoreau Emerson Amble, because they used to literally just walk and chat back and forth between each other's houses.
Right.
And around Walden Pond. So it's really, really cool that so many of America's great early literary figures lived right here in Concord, within like a 2-mile radius of each other, knew each other and were friends and hung out.
Because Louisa May Alcott lives right down
less than half a mile down the street.
Less than half a mile down the street.
And the Wayside's right beside that. And Thoreau's cottage is in that direction, back through the woods.
Right. But yeah, all the homes are closed for the season right now, unfortunately, because of COVID. But it's been kind of neat to just be able to walk around outside and see what they look like. We're gonna help you find your way from the Emerson house right here to the Emerson-Thoreau Amble. Let's go.
We'll just keep going across the front of the Emerson house here, headed down by the road. This is called the Gun House, and the trail starts right behind it.
Look at that. I found it.
So you can go ahead and walk first.
Okay.
That's right, Emerson-Thoreau Amble. You found it. Great job, honey.
Because I'm a sign girl. Thankfully it's mowed so you know where to go.
So the Emerson-Thoreau Amble on this map starts up here by Emerson's house. They actually have a trailhead over here for folks, but Emerson just had to come out his back door to here. And it does wind up crossing the road way down here, but it goes all the way through these woods, just winding around as they walked and chatted. That's super cool. I can't believe we're going to be like walking down the same place that those great minds walk together chatting about stuff. We're going to have to think of deep philosophical thoughts to chat about as we go.
We'll try.
This is some cool trail. This is probably the most helpful trail we've ever been on. You really know where to go, what to do.
So here we are, partway through the Thoreau Emerson Amble. We're actually seated on a little bench thing that's built into a bridge that crosses the stream, right behind where Emerson's house was. This section of the trail here would be where they would have come into the trail from his house. But it runs from Emerson's house, which he called the Bush, to Thoreau's cabin, which was on Emerson's property, right?
Right.
All of this was owned by Emerson?
Yeah, all this was owned by Emerson. So Thoreau had permission to build his cabin out by Walden Pond.
It was a grand social experiment. He wanted to see if he could build his cabin out of, inexpensive recycled materials from around town and survive for 2 years, working 1 day a week and devoting the other 6 to his interests and pursuits. That was his grand social experiment for while he was living there on Walden Pond. And one of those pursuits was writing and philosophical thinking.
Right.
Emerson was one of the greatest American thinkers of his time. He's a founding member of the Transcendentalist movement, which was all about individual thought. He and Thoreau wandered back and forth on this path, having
Philosophical discussions.
deep discussions about free thought and, just life. And
We tried to have a philosophical, but
it was a
I
little
couldn't
lame.
get into it.
I started out cheesy, I went with the tree falling in the woods question. It wasn't a bad start. It was embarrassing. So we were honored to walk in their footsteps.
Definitely.
But, we're not quite on their level for the philosophical thought yet.
But that's okay.
But if you're hikers in particular and you're into history while you're here, check out the Emerson-Thoreau Amble. I really, really enjoyed walking along, just thinking about, those two great minds, just walking in the woods together.
I enjoyed the nature and how we could feel like we're, I don't know.
You enjoyed the nature.
Yeah.
Is that the trees and the grass? Or
I don't know, baby. I don't know.
I was teasing you, trying to make you laugh. Next, we're heading down to Walden Pond. We're going to check out the scenery and see if we can find the original site of Thoreau's cabin. So, Henry Thoreau's original cabin has fallen long since. He did not build it out of standard construction. He built it himself out of scrap material from around town with his own hands and lived in it for 2 years. The actual site is much further in the woods. There aren't any roads that go to it. But he built a cabin that they've recreated based on his writings, roughly this size, and he lived in it alone for 2 years. That's where all of his writing for Life on the Pond or Walden Pond came from.
Pond Path is a 1.7-mile trail. Oh, well that's sweet. It's only half a mile out and then half a mile back. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one we're supposed to take, or?
Nope, we're taking the pond trail right now. That's what that sign said.
Okay.
This is the pond trail. About halfway up this side of the pond, so probably about a quarter mile out or so. More than a quarter mile. Third of a mile out or so. We'll have a right-hand turn to take to go over to Thoreau's cabin site.
Okay.
And then we'll come back down the woods path because traffic's one way around all the paths at the moment because of COVID.
Okay.
But even over here, the beach extends for a really, really, really long time, Tom. Aside from the main beach area, continuing all the way up this side of halfway up this side of the pond, the Walden Pond is beautiful. And it looks like we're going to have views of the pond path the whole way. The views of the pond on the pond path the whole way. That's pretty awesome. Wow, people are spread out all over the pond. There are a lot of open water swimmers out here with their buoys, probably because motor craft are not allowed on Walden Pond. So it's a whole lot safer for an open water swim without having to worry about getting run over by a speedboat.
That's probably why it's so clean looking too.
Mm-hmm. This section of the trail is kind of nice. It's wide open, we're up above the pond, the view's really cool.
Coming around the pond path, right out into an open beach.
This one's on the back side of the lake. But all the way around, the whole time we've been walking, we keep kind of running across into little sections of beach with people spread out on them, enjoying themselves all the way around the pond.
These are really steep steps for my short little legs. Dude, there's some railroad tracks up here.
You can look up and down for a long way, it's kind of neat. No idea when a train's coming by, but if you're into trains, you can hang out back there and wait.
As long as it's an active track.
Pretty sure it's an active track. The tops of the rails are kind of shiny. I don't know, they just look much more maintained than the abandoned tracks we usually walk on, you know?
So Glenn and I had a really great day today, going to visit Emerson's house, walking on the Emerson-Thoreau Amble, and
Checking out Walden Pond. We've got lots more to cover. We've barely scratched the surface of Concord. We're actually going to have to split the part we're going to do about the authors into 2 segments. So this is the end of segment 1, part 1.
Emerson and Thoreau.
Right, and Walden Pond.
So part 2 is going to be the Wayside and Louisa May Alcott's house, the Orchard House.
And then we'll head on over to Sleepy Hollow Cemetery, where all 3 of them are buried. 4 of them? All 4 of
All
them
4
are
of
buried.
them, yeah, all 4 of them.
My bad. And I'm sorry, Nathaniel Hawthorne. I don't know why I keep forgetting you. I do. It's always Hawthorne. But all 4 of them are buried on Author Ridge in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. In the meantime, make sure you smash that thumbs up button.
And hit the bell so you get the notifications from us.
After you subscribe.
Of course. And check out Bones on Instagram at Bones the Sound Guy. And you can see all that wacky stuff he does.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.